Hello everyone. Welcome to another session of Technical Council's Tech Club interview series, where we interact with different technical club heads to give you a better idea about the club. Today we have PSI Racing Team. PSI Racing Team is the official motorsports team of NIT Trichy. To talk about PSI, today we have Vijay Raghavan, the current head of PSI Racing Team, and Huzaifa, the previous head of PSI Racing Team. Welcome guys.
Hi Rakesh.
Hello.
Hello everyone. This is Vijay Raghavan from the fourth year mechanical. I'm the captain of PSA Racing. Firstly, I would like to thank Technical Council for creating this platform where technical clubs can come in and brief about their projects and the working of the team. We are very glad that you could have us here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Guys, can you give us a brief idea about the PSI, what PSI is and what PSI does?
So basically, PSI Racing Team is the official motorsport team of NIT Trichy. It was started in the year 2007. So currently we have 32 members in the team from various departments of the college. And every year we make a single-seater off-road vehicle, an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, to participate in a competition called BAJA SAE India and another competition called Enduro Student India. And if we look at the structure of the team, we divide ourselves into various subsystems like chassis, brakes, suspension steering, and powertrain and data acquisition systems. And each of these subsystems work synchronously towards the common goal of building the ATV. So this is what PSA is.
Yeah, got it. So, on what kind of projects is PSI working now, and on what kind of projects is PSI planning to work on future?
Okay. If you look at it on a bigger picture, every year we build an off-road vehicle. So it's a rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive vehicle. Every year we build it, we design, fabricate, test them in college, and take it to the competition. But currently we are trying to upgrade ourselves to a four-wheel drive mode, four-wheel drive layout, which is which is more favorable in an off-road condition. This is a bigger picture of it. But when you look into individual subsystems, each subsystem has an individual project of its own or a goal of its own. To state a few examples, I would say that suspension and steering team is working on developing custom shock absorbers, and they're trying to mathematically model the suspension system using MATLAB and Python codes. And if we look at powertrain subsystem, they're working on the four-wheel drive design, the layout, gearbox, gears, gear casing designs, and then CVT tuning. CVT is basically an automatic transmission type. And the data acquisition system is working on various sensors like fuel level sensors, RPM sensors, accelerometers, and a dedicated telemetry system through which we can relay data from the performance data from the car, which we can access it remotely from our pits during the competition. And these are
really nice.
and these I would say these are not short-term goals. If you look at each project, we have started working on it for the past in 2016, 17, or 18, and it would take 1 or 2 years to understand the components first, and then we are currently in a stage of customizing it for our own cars. So in a long term, that is how we work in a long term process.
Yeah, nice. Okay, talking about the lockdown situation, PSI's work is mostly hardware. So, how are you planning to work on this in this virtual semester?
Okay. Lockdown hasn't actually brought a halt to our operation or something. We have softwares like Creo parametric, PTC Creo, ANSYS for design and analysis of our components. Right. So we are currently involving ourselves in the design phase, and one important thing is that BAJA competition, which I mentioned earlier, has been changed to a virtual platform. So we are working on mathematical modeling and simulations of our designs so that we can compete in the virtual platform for the competition.
Nice.
So we are progressing in the right direction here.
good to hear that. What are some notable achievements of PSI team?
Yeah, so coming to achievements, I think last year we had a pretty good season overall. So as Vijay Raghavan said, we participated in two national level competitions, which is the BAJA SAE India and the Endurance in India. So something about the structure of these competitions. So BAJA SAE India, like you have to be an undergraduate student to participate, and you need to be from an undergraduate college in India. So around 400 colleges register for the competition, out of which there is a virtual round where you present your car's design. And based on that round, 120 teams are selected to go to the event as such. So the event takes place in Pithampur, Madhya Pradesh, at like the NATRAX facility, which is the National Testing Center of India, where most of the cars are tested, like all the on-road cars, everything is tested over there. So once these 120 teams are selected, at Baja you will have like different competitions like suspension and traction, rock crawl, maneuverability, acceleration, which comprise of the dynamic events. So it tests the dynamic capabilities of car. Apart from this, you'll have like static events, which is like the design round, the cost event, where you have to minimize the cost of the car, the sales presentation, where you have to pitch and sell the car to some investors. So these events also test our ability to present, to make proper reports, proper documentation of our entire process of design and assembly and manufacturing. So what we achieved last year is, overall out of the 120 teams that were there at Baja, we came fifth overall. Our dynamics overall rank was third. So we came fifth in our best rank in the suspension events was fifth in suspension traction, fifth in rock crawl, maneuverability we were seventh position, and acceleration we were 10th position. The static design round, which is actually renowned as one of the most competitive rounds in all of Baja. Like Baja is there internationally also. So Indian Baja has a pretty competitive static design round, and in that we came sixth position out of the 120 teams. So last year we had a pretty good season in terms of Baja and Endurance Student in India. There are lesser teams participating. Around 40 ATVs go to the event, and in that we came overall fourth with first position in overall dynamics. So we got podiums in four events, all four dynamic events, which is maneuverability we came first, acceleration we came first, and two other events called Dirtex and Sprintex, which is similar to our suspension events in Baja, which we came second and third. And again, in the static design round, we performed well and came fourth position. So 2020 season was a very successful season for PSI Racing, which gave us a lot of confidence and helped us grow. Apart from that, previous years also we have been doing well. We have been getting some podiums here and there. But last year was the first year where we like got consistent, like in all the events we did well and didn't lose out on any points that were there to offer.
Yeah, PSI was always successful. I hope the success continues. And what all competitions do you take part in every year?
So yeah.
Yeah, sure. So Josefa already touched upon that point, but I would go a bit more briefly into it. So BAJA SAE India is the first competition. It happens in the month of January, last week of January actually, for a period of 5 days. Okay. So BAJA happens in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, and there is a place called NATRAX, which is the short form of National Automotive Test Tracks, where, as he said, many on-road, off-road trucks, vehicles are tested there. And on the first day, we have something called as an safety scrutiny. So there is a rule book which is being provided by BAA, which we have to adhere to while fabricating this ATV. So in the safety scrutiny basically consists of three parts. So first is the technical evaluation, where the technical judges would come and check the they'll check if the roll cage and other components satisfy the rule book. And then we have engine check, weight check, and then most importantly brake test. Only if we clear all this, we will be given tech okay, and only then we'll be allowed to progress to dynamic events. As we said, there are two paths for the competition: static and dynamic events. So dynamic events are basically designed to test the agility, durability, and performance characteristics like acceleration, braking, suspension, suspension traction, and like that, and endurance also. And there is something called as there is another division called static events, where, as he said, there is a static design presentation, cost presentation, sales event, and he pretty much briefed about all those things. And one other highlight of BAA is that there is an event called endurance race, which happens on the 4th day of the competition. Endurance race is basically a 4-hour long race where the ATP has to go through a very treacherous track, which is made like the track consists of hill climbs, rock crawls, muddy bowls, and many bumps and ropes. Basically, the track is very fatiguing for the driver and for the car also. So that is a highlight event. And coming to ESI, it is a similar event with a similar motive, but names and the events slightly vary, but the ultimate motive or the goal remains the same. So these are the two competitions which we have been participating in the past years, and we are also planning to participate in many other events from this year onwards. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I hope that also goes well. And PSI inductions for this year are over, and I'm sure that the new inductees are obviously great. And how did you go for inductions in these challenging times? I mean, and usually, how do you go for inductions when it's offline?
Okay. We start off our inductions pretty early. I guess we are the first team to start our inductions because we have a registration deadline which we have to follow. So we start in the month of immediately after our events in the month of February, end of February or in the March. So before the lockdown started, we were able to start our induction process. We had a briefing and we had a written round first in college, and the first round of interviews, personal interviews, were over in college. So by that time, we are like at the start of the inductions, we already had a Facebook page for the inductions, which was very great. Like it served as a platform to communicate with all the inductees. So once the lockdown started, we didn't want to compromise on the process as such. Rather, we modified. We had slight improvisations on the process so that it could be done on a virtual platform. So we had a virtual model round, and then PA2, technical interview 2, and then the HR round and the faculty interview. So all of this was done on a Skype app. And it was a very long process and it went on for a period of 2 months, but actually it's worth the wait and the candidates have been really great.
Nice. What does PSI expect from a potential inductee?
Yeah. So as you can see, the team is comprised of a very small number of people. It's a very closely knit group of 32 or 30 odd people. So everyone's contribution to the team is very important. And we have observed things in the past like single person's performance or a contribution of a single person doesn't matter. How we work as a team is actually reflected in our results. So we look for students who are really self-motivated, dedicated, and hardworking. Really, that is the baseline. And and obviously they should be enthusiastic about automobiles. But we do not require people to have complete knowledge about subsystems of a vehicle. We take care of that during the induction process. We ensure that they go through that learning process during the induction phase. So only an interest towards automobiles and a dedicated, hardworking, and self-motivated person is what we are really looking for.
Yeah. And what does a person gain from going through all this induction process, be it an inductee or non-inductee?
Yeah. So as Vijay Raghavan briefed about the induction process, the thing what we think of the induction process is actually like a training process for our team itself. So we have designed the induction process such that when they finish the induction process, even though they didn't have any idea about automobiles or mechanics or anything like data acquisition systems or anything like that, they would have gained enough knowledge to start working from day one for PSI Racing Team. So that is our main aim through the induction process. More than shortlisting people, we see their ability to like pick up things, learn things quickly, show motivation to join the team, put an effort to like read things which we have suggested to them through the interview. That is why we always have a long process so that we can see and get the people who are actually very committed and really interested in joining the club, and they're growing from when they started, and we can see a growth in them from when they started with the first round, the written round, and the final round. So you don't just gain technical knowledge, that is obvious. Like you apply for a technical team, you will gain technical knowledge about that domain, but you also gain like how do you like learn something, like the process of learning something is also gained through our induction process. So we feel that that is the main motive of the induction process, and so we have made it long and more difficult.
Okay, got it. So, how does it feel being the highest funded club of NIT Trichy? Is it like pressure or something?
Yeah, we have actually we don't we feel that the funding that the college provides is more about what the club needs than what the club deserves. So we don't feel any pressure like because we are the highest funded club, we should be the best club. There is no best club. There is no worst club. Every club has its own perks. Every club has its own interests, own domain, own application. So the funding we don't feel is a thing that tells about the club's like how hard it is to get in the club or how difficult the club's work is or anything like that. We just feel that because we, as you said, we are a more hardware oriented club where you have to manufacture a lot of products. You have to manufacture lots of parts in the car, and there are lots of parts in the car. So we feel that to do justice to that amount of money spent, we are getting funded that much. Uh, every year, we are thankful to the college to fund us adequately, and still we obviously have to spend from our own pockets. But obviously, like the amount the college funds us is we are pretty happy with it.
Yeah. So, there are few misconceptions regarding PSI. So, through this interview, I think we can clear those misconceptions. The first misconception is PSI is only the club for mechanical department and production department, not for other departments. And I mean, how do you encourage other departments to take part in the inductions?
Yes, we have actually faced this problem of how to encourage other departments. The thing is that about 4 to 5 years back, I would say yes, mechanical and prod was the majority like need in PSI racing team. But in the past 3 to 2 years, all of our major innovations, all of our major performance boosts have been from other departments. Like our DAC team, even though the DAC team is currently made up of mechanical students, but the DAC is full of sensors coding. So it's not necessary that it's better if we have a person from another department, but they have been making many of the innovations that you see currently in our car. So this misconception actually wrong. We actually need more people from other departments, more people willing to work on our car because currently data is everything. So once we get a hold of the data that our car like suppose when we are in acceleration run, if we can get the acceleration graph like how our car is actually accelerating, we can tune our CVT components accordingly. We can tune our transmission accordingly. So that is most important for us right now. And so I feel that even if you feel that if a potential student feels that mech and prod is dominating PSI racing team, if that person wants to apply, he should know that if he gets in, he'll be one of the most important members of PSI.
Yeah, got it. And the second misconception is PSI is not a club for girls.
Yeah. So obviously, if you look at the team currently, there are no girls in our team. So we understand where that misconception is coming from. But the thing is that we don't like there is no criteria of being the only criteria in an entire induction process is the technical criteria and how much he can learn. As I said, how much the person can learn through the induction process. And so girls usually what we feel is they have not like if we find a suitable girl candidate, I'm sure that we'll 100% be willing to take them. And since we are a growing club, like recently from 25 we increased our club to 32 members, and we are planning to increase more. I'm sure you'll see more girl candidates, and I encourage girl candidates to apply because there is no bias between male and female candidates in our club.
Yeah, looking forward for that. Uh, and the third misconception, major misconception, PSI works on monotonous projects.
Yeah, so that is a very big misunderstanding that people have. The thing is that it is being passed on by seniors or yeah people who do not understand the working of the club properly. So if you look at it, yes, we do make an ATV every year. When you look at that from that perspective, yes, it is monotonous. But uh, every year ATV is completely new. I can explain this how. So if you look at it, after our competitions end in the month of February, we have a debrief within the team. We see where we have lapsed out, where the performance has lost, where we have lost our performance, where is like which components have failed, or what are the mistakes or lapses, and then we try to reason out why that happened and rectify it. And the most important thing we should understand here is the ideology behind every car is different. It's completely different from the previous year's car. So we are always working towards improving the performance of the car. In this sense, so suspension characteristics of every car will be different. Transmission layout will be different. To accommodate all these things, the other subsystems like chassis, brakes, data acquisition will have to improvise themselves. So it is not the same car year after year. I can give a very clear-cut example for this. So if you look at the transmission powertrain of the car, we have moved on from manual, which is the gearbox. You have gear stick to shift between gears. We have moved from that to a automatic transmission. CVT is a type of an automatic transmission, and then we were in stages where we had to get components from the market off the shelf, which is available, and try to fit it in our car. But currently, we are in a stage where we can customize our own components. We make our own gears, we make our own gearboxes, which is basically on an on a performance side, it's a very big improvement. And if I can tell you about suspension team, 2 years or 5 years before, we only thought of shocks like we would only get shocks from the market and try to tune it to what best it can do to our car. But currently, we are in a stage where we can mathematically arrive at what we need from a shock and then go for it in the market. So this is a learning curve which never flattens out. Like the learning process is immense here. Like I said, gears, manufacturing of gears, gearboxes, shafts, every single component, wheel hubs, knuckles. So everything is a custom component in our part. And every year we try to reduce the weight, optimize the strength, ensure that we don't have failures. If we look at this sense, every year you make a completely new car. And to give a better analogy of this, if people know about Formula One, you go and ask a Formula One team like Mercedes or Red Bull or Ferrari, if you go and ask them why do you make the same car every year, it's a very redundant question. that is
Got it.
that is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. I think the misconceptions are cleared. And now talking about the team, what does a person gain from being part of the team?
Okay, so personally for me, one now obviously technical knowledge, but that is obvious. The the best characteristic that I learned from the team is time management. So there is, I think people know that we put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hours every day, and it's like a requirement to at least spend some time in the auto lab every day, no matter if you have tests, exams, or anything like that. So the thing is that once you are put like, okay, this is, I have to do this on this time, you learn how to manage your time, you learn how to like put things around other things, like learn when to study for your test, when to like do something of your own interest, when to like play music or anything like that, when to play football, when to play cricket. So you learn how to manage your time so that you can effectively give your energy to all your activities. So that is, for me personally, the best thing about PSI racing: time management. Apart from that, if you have been in PSI racing for at least 1 year, or like 1 year or 2 years, you will for sure know everything about an automobile. So if you're like planning on like working in an automobile company, or if you want to like do something related to like automobile, you'll 100% be able to like give a lot of confidently answer in interviews. You'll be able to confidently answer questions that come up. So that is for sure. Like if you work at PSI racing team, for sure you can like you'll have a lot of technical knowledge. Apart from that, you will learn more about working together, like being in a team, because a lot of our components, like suppose if you take a wheel hub, it only fits with one wheel knuckle. So if the wheel knuckle changes, my wheel hub has to change, and the wheel knuckle is being designed by someone else, not by me. And so I have to learn how to communicate with him and how to like arrive at a solution together, which is pretty important in any company, be it a software company. You have to write code that goes along with other person's code. You have to, so any company you take, you will have to know team. You'll have to have teamwork. So that way, I feel that that PSI Racing team teaches you that too. So personally, these three things I think are one of the are the best takeaways from PSI Racing.
I would
Got it.
like to add on some more points to this. So what we study in our college in our textbooks, we don't find a lot of places where we can directly apply them. But in PSA, like we have the privilege or joy of applying things which we study as equations and theories. So that part is really great. And as you said, working with the team. So basically, you're going out of your college, staying with the team for 20 odd days. You learn to be a part of a team, adjust with people, and you face hardships or success together as a team. So that experience is something I really like about this team. So that is my greatest takeaway, apart from what they say.
Yeah. Talking about you guys, how did PSI benefit you, like in career-wise and day-to-day life? How did PSI help you develop?
Yeah, so I think this connects to the previous question. So, as I said, technical knowledge wise, you will be able to confidently answer in any interview, whatever be it. But more importantly, the alumni connect that you get. So, we are still in contact with our 2012 alumni. I can give my personal example. I was planning to go for hires, but I couldn't, obviously, because of COVID. And so, I was looking for a job. I could call up my 2012 alumni of PSI Racing team and I could work for his company. He has an automotive startup. So I basically completely got my job for 1 year through PSI Racing team. So if you look at it as a career perspective, not only do you have the technical knowledge to apply for jobs, you also have the alumni in that particular field, so that you can easily get a job or whatever when you want. And it obviously adds a lot of weight to your resume if you're applying for like hires or something, because BAJA is an internationally recognized competition. So there's a BAJA in Mexico, there's a BAJA in USA. There are three BAJAs in US actually. So if you put BAJA in your resume, for sure people recognize that, okay, this is a club, this is a team that he's been building cars. He has knowledge about how to design a component of a car. He has knowledge of softwares like ANSYS, Creo, and so you can confidently put that in your resume, and obviously 100% you'll get a lot of weightage for it. So for building your career, I would say it's a great opportunity. Like you can like use it in a lot of places, not just in, like, even if you don't want to pursue a career in automobile or something, you do a lot more things. You do a lot of analysis, you do a lot of design, which need not be only for a car. Like I can design something for a rocket too. So you learn how to design actually. So that way, obviously, you can go into multiple fields. You can do a lot of stuff with by being part of PSA.
Yeah, understood. So concluding the interview, you guys, do you have something to tell to the audience?
Yeah, so like if you guys want to contribute to the team, even if you're not a part of the team, you can reach out to us anytime. If you are in college, you can come to Art Lab. You can always find some of us working there. And if you want to reach out to us through social media forums also, it's fine. We have an Instagram account and a Facebook page. You can reach out to us, and we are open for discussions. And hope we have pretty much explained what we can through this interview. And thank you again, Rakesh, for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you. And thank you guys for viewing this video. Thank you.